Frank from Dallas. This is for Dr. Joe. In your latest book and also today, you said that the mind is the brain in action. Science of mind seems to have correlation, evidence, anecdotes that a person that's in a coma, that they can be healed by practitioners using science of mind, spiritual mind treatments. So it would suggest that the mind came first before the brain. What's your opinion on that?
Okay, so if we look at definitions, the neuroscientific definition of mind is the brain in action. Mind is the brain at work. You have 100 billion neurons. They can fire in different sequences, different patterns, and different combinations. And the sequences and patterns of combinations produce different levels of mind. Now, in certain traditional texts, whether it's Buddhist texts or whether it's science of mind, they explain mind, and I use the word consciousness to explain mind in that sense. Now, consciousness is that immaterial essence, that energy that really is animating the brain. And so when consciousness moves through the brain, it produces mind. So then the brain is just an anatomical piece of material. And science says that you can literally rewire your brain, you can literally change its function, but who's doing the changing of the brain and the mind? And it's consciousness. Now, consciousness to me has two elements. Consciousness is awareness, awareness is paying attention. And so then there is a free-willed level of awareness called you and I, the journeymen, the journeywomen, from source down to matter. And we got to this level and we didn't go any further because tiramisu is here, so we stopped. Chocolate, too. So then all of a sudden we drink the wine of forgetfulness and we have to journey back to source. And then as we journey back to that objective consciousness then is the consciousness of the field, observing all of this into reality. So then when your consciousness turns inward and it begins to interact with this greater consciousness, you can't enter as a somebody. You can't enter as your personality. You have to enter as a nobody. And the element of taking your attention off your body, off your identity, off of things, off of places, and off of time, leaves you as pure consciousness. So then now, all of a sudden, the brain starts moving back into orderliness because the operator's gone, and all of a sudden, you start getting that kind of synchronization that takes place called coherence. So then, as the autonomic nervous system, which is a self-organizing intelligence, begins to create order where there's disorder, all of a sudden, the upscaling of biology begins to change. So consciousness, the free-willed you and I, is animating a body to produce different levels of mind. That objective consciousness, which is the field, is what we interact with. And so it would be a good idea then, if all of your attention is on your environment, to close your eyes and disconnect from your environment. To sit your body down and no longer allow it to move and be greater than your body, and really give up your appointments and your thoughts about the past and the future and find the present moment. And if you are going to create something by thought alone, then you have to become thought alone. And you have to literally linger in that infinite field where all possibilities exist. And we've measured it enough times to see that when you truly do that, all of a sudden now, your brain and body begin to change as a result of it.
I'd like to add something to that. This field is so new that we're talking about. The discoveries that are being made so quickly that mainstream is not able to catch up with all the new discoveries. So we're still thinking about a mechanistic model, a mechanical brain. Consciousness is, science is still struggling with that. On the one hand, on the other hand, the discoveries are pushing us quantum understandings into the future. And one of the places where this is happening is new science, and this is peer-reviewed science. So this isn't theory or hypothesis or new thought. This is happening in peer-reviewed scientific research, is now suggesting that the memories that you and I have, and the question was about what's happening in the brain and the mind, that our memories do not reside within our brain, that our memories don't even reside within our bodies, that the memories reside in the field, And what we call the brain is our accumulation of antenna. You can think of them like that. Of the antenna that we grow and create in our lifetime that tune to the place in the field where the information resides. Does that make any sense if I said it that way? So, I mean, this is so real. This is so real. I did a pre-conference workshop. We touched on this a little bit on Wednesday. Some of you, I think, are in the room here. This is so real. My colleagues in Silicon Valley, that I left Silicon Valley, they're still working there. They are actually developing computer memory chips based upon a droplet of water that is a very refined droplet of water rather than silicon. And what they're finding is they can pump terabytes of information, entire city blocks of a library into this droplet of water. And they're saying, how in the world is the droplet absorbing all this? And then they figured out it's not. The droplet is creating a template, but the information is in a field that extends even beyond the chip, beyond the computer. This is the bridge to quantum understandings, quantum realities. So when we talk about influencing one another and our brains, what we're really talking about is our brain through the act, and I mentioned this yesterday, remember those of you who were with me yesterday, the act of choosing to learn something differently and how we grow the neurites on the neurons. Okay, those are the antenna. When we do that, those are the antenna that are tuning to the place in the field that holds the memories, or it holds the language that we're trying to learn, or the mathematic understandings. We are resonators tuning to the field, and that changes everything. When you think about science of mind and why it works the way it works, when you think about remote healing, when you think about entanglement, remote viewing, all of those things, it puts a whole new spin.